Hi YouTube, Alicia here, back with another review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 9, Episode 7. Let's get to it. So we open up this week at Phaedra's house, and Portia's on her way over. As always, Portia's always going to Phaedra's house. But this time, Portia has asked to babysit Phaedra's kids. Since Portia's on a quest to have her own child, she thought it'd be good to babysit to kind of get used to it. But didn't we already see this before? Way back, I think it was Portia's first season on the show, maybe the second season, when she was still married to Cordell and she was babysitting her godchild and she left the baby alone in the bed and the dog was watching the baby. Do y'all remember that? So we've already seen this, Portia. But whatever, let's go with it. Let's go with it. So it's a cute enough scene. Phaedra's kids are adorable. They're so smart, and I can't believe the second one is so much older now, but they're smart. And then Aiden even told Portia when it was time to go to bed that she needed to negotiate with him because he didn't like the pajamas that she picked out. Just so cute, so cute. So Phaedra comes home at 10 o'clock and she talks to Portia a little bit before Portia leaves about how things are going with Todd. And Portia said they're going well. And then Portia said that she'll babysit for Phaedra once a week so Phaedra can get back out into the dating world. So then we move on to Sheree. And Sheree's looking on point this week. She has this cute little blonde hair, a little swoop to the side. It's straight. Well, straight with, anyway, it looks good. Much better than that curly stuff she had the week before. But anyway, guys, this week we're focusing on Cairo, who wants to be a model. So Sheree is going to be the momager and help him get on his way. So Cairo has a photo shoot and they're taking all these pictures. And Bob comes in and he acts like, oh my God, my son's naked. What's happening? Bob is really funny, y'all. He's a cute comedy relief. So it was a cute enough scene. He came by and supported his son and he supported Sheree. And so Cairo's going to get his little career off the ground. So I guess modeling is just the new career path for these Real Housewives kids. We've got Gigi Hadid on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm sure she's not the first one, but she's the first one I can think of. Then we've got Delilah, Lisa Rinna's daughter, who's starting this season. Then we've got Noelle, Cynthia Bailey's daughter, who wants to start this season. And now we have Cairo. So I'm just like, I guess this is the way. I guess no one else has a career in Hollywood besides this. Maybe it's the easiest way in since the parents are famous. I don't know. Anyway, did you guys notice that? This is a trend I'm seeing. So now we move on to Kenya. And Kenya's calling her father. And she's talking about what's going on with Matt. And Kenya's dad, to his credit, is starting to get concerned about Matt's temper tantrums and his outbursts. And he's afraid things can escalate. So he has Kenya book him a flight down. What is her dad going to do? I mean, honestly, good for him for wanting to be there for his daughter and support her, whatever. But Kenya is in her 40s, y'all. I mean, Kenya is in her 40s. I really don't know why this is so difficult for her. I don't know. I'm just thinking that she needs a storyline. So she's pulling in as many people as she can. Good for them for trying to make this into some sort of domestic abuse story, but not really. But anyway. Again, Kenya's father is she's not 20 years old. She's not a child anymore. She should have more snap about her, about what she should do about the situation. I'm not buying the whole love thing. Then we have a really brief scene where Cynthia is walking with Noelle and she gets the great news that the offer they put in on that lake house from last week got accepted. So they're moving, yay, and they're all excited about the new house. So next we go to Kandi at the candy factory. She's meeting with all of her crew and Todd's there and they're starting to ask him how the restaurant's going. Kandi gets a phone call, and it's Phaedra's assistant calling to try to set up a dinner with Kandi that week. And I thought, well, that's weird. Because if my friend wanted to go to dinner with me, I need to hear from my friend, not my friend's assistant. So to me, it already sets the tone. They're no longer friends. This is a business transaction. It's a scene for the show. Whatever. Really strange. So Kandi didn't think anything of it. All she would say was, I don't really know what she wants to meet about. And her people were asking her when was the last time they spoke. And the last time they did speak was at the tasting from the week before. So they don't even talk anymore, which we already knew. Kandi tells the group that Phaedra has this major spin on what happened with the bomb threat and that it's that this was a coworker of hers or a former client. It's all good. But then the week before, some other friend ran into Phaedra and she had a bodyguard. So we're just really getting mixed messages here. Not sure what Phaedra's trying to do here. Maybe it's for her own protection, but I don't know. We'll just have to stay tuned to see what's going on. All right, Phaedra. So we have Phaedra meeting with Drama's mother. Drama is the guy that came with the bomb from last week. The mom shows up and she's crying her poor son. And so Phaedra, I think Phaedra's doing some major damage control or whatever. Because why would the mom be there? If it's a huge misunderstanding, it's no big deal. She's making it into a big deal. So on one hand, she's saying it's not a big deal. On the other hand, she's telling Drama's mother that it's a shame that these things get blown out of proportion and that people are talking about it. And now she's mad. So in Phaedra's confessional, she tells us she's mad at Kandi because Kandi's mom was talking out of pocket last week about what the media was saying, what went down with the bomb thing. So if you remember, and if you don't remember, you can watch my recap from last week. But Kandi's mom was making light of the whole thing, saying, well, not even making light of it. She was just saying, the media saying the guy walked in, said he was going to blow up the place because he was sick of Phaedra. So for whatever reason, Phaedra's feeling some kind of way because Kandi's mom was saying all these different things, and Kandi didn't stop her. Which we did see that Kandi initially did stop her because Kandi's mom was really on one and was about to do something far worse, probably, than what she actually did do at the table. So she accuses Kandi of making light of a serious situation by letting her mom go on and on. But I'm thinking, is it serious? Because you said it was a misunderstanding. You said he was there to drop off CDs. What is it, Phaedra? Which one? Is it serious? People making light of a serious situation? Is it light? What's really going on? Because your whole spin this week is that it wasn't even a real threat. So how can you make light of a non-issue? Okay, so then we go over to Porsche. Back to Porsche. We're at Porsche's mom's house, and they're doing a family dinner, and Todd's invited. And this is the family's chance to get to meet him, give him the once over, find out what his intentions are towards Porsche. Todd seems nice enough, respectful. He seems super shy, really quiet. He doesn't really see much during the meal, and Porsche's sister's really kind of needling him a little bit and grilling him a little bit, but he seems to be all right. Porsche's sister asks him, since he already has 2 grown kids, does he really want to start over, or why would he want to start over? And he really hesitates a lot. He's not sure how to answer the question. So finally he just says, well, under the right circumstances, I'd be willing to do it. So I don't know what's going on, y'all. I don't know. It doesn't seem like Porsche really needs help with the storyline department. This guy seems a lot younger than her. Do y'all think so? I don't know if he just looks younger or he acts younger, but he definitely seems younger. And not really into it, just kind of along for the ride. And it was almost like that guy from last year, Duke. But I think Duke was more into it at first until Porsche started with the whole love thing, and then he got backed way off. So I don't know what's going on, y'all. I just don't believe. I got my good eye on them, y'all. I'm kind of skeptical about these relationships. I don't know what's real, what's fake. Time will tell. Time will tell. In the end, Todd seems to pass the test with the family. At the end, he leans over and tells Porsche he loves her, which I thought was strange. Like, y'all just been dating for 2 minutes, so you putting it on a little bit thick, Todd. Just go slow, okay? Just go slow. So then we're back to Kenya. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. They drive up to the house, and then Kenya's dad sees the garage door, and there are 3 panes completely out of the door. Now, I thought that Matt only kicked one in. There was a hole where his foot went away in 1 pane, but then there's 3 totally out. So the dad's freaking out like, oh my God, he did all that? And she's like, yes. Did he do all of that? Or do you think he just did the 1 pane and they did more out for effect? Just correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he just did the 1 pane. But anyway, the dad's appalled and shocked and thinks it's highly inappropriate for someone to be that violent around his daughter, which, yeah, for sure I agree. Violence is never okay. And speaking of violence is never okay, when Porsche was babysitting Phaedra's children, what's his name? Dylan is the baby. Dylan was punching Aiden because Aiden had something in his. And so, but Porsche tells him violence is not the answer, or not okay, or something like that. Kind of funny because Porsche's about those hands. Okay, so back to Kenya. That scene's all about Kenya's going to call Matt because she wants Matt and her dad to talk. So that's going to be set up. Okay, so next we're back to Sheree. Sheree has enlisted the help of Cynthia because Cynthia is a supermodel and Sheree's son, Cairo, wants to be a model. So she thought it'd be really good to have Cynthia give some advice. So in the conversation, Cynthia's checking out Cairo a little too much, right? Was it a little uncomfortable for you guys? It was a little much. Anyway, so Sheree is all about this whole modeling thing, and she tells Cynthia she wants her son to walk in New York Fashion Week. So Cynthia's like, oh, slow your roll, because that's kind of like the Super Bowl for models. He hasn't even had a class on walking yet, so maybe not just yet, Sheree. So Cynthia gives him some advice, and she's telling him kind of be realistic with your expectations. And Sheree kind of takes offense to it, like, don't, just do, you can do anything you put your mind to, Cairo. She still wants him to be optimistic, which of course, but you still need to be a little bit realistic too. Those two things are not diametrically opposed. So at the end of the day, Cynthia said this whole little session was free advice. One time session of free advice. And she kind of said it in like a kiki way, like, I'm just joking with you, but y'all, she wasn't joking. Do y'all remember? And I was trying to remember who it was. I want to say it was some seasons back when Nene was still on the show. I think it was Phaedra that was going to have an event, and she tweeted out that Cynthia was going to be there and all this other stuff. But she did, or maybe it was Kenya. I can't remember who was having an event, but they tweeted that Cynthia was going to show up. And Cynthia was going to show up, but then she was talking to Nene, and it was like, well, I'm not getting paid to show up, and they didn't ask me to show up, and I don't have a contract with them, and so she didn't show up. Do you remember that? Like, they're all co-workers on this whole little reality show. They all do each other's events, but at that time, Cynthia decided not to go because she wasn't getting paid. So that's why I'm like, the way she was looking at Sheree and she was playing with her hair, like, just a one-time thing, I'm thinking she's serious. I think the next time she's going to charge Sheree. All right, y'all. So we're back to Kenya. She and her dad are at a cigar bar, cigar lounge, whatever, and Matt's supposed to show up. So 30 minutes passes by, and Kenya's dad's getting anxious and annoyed because he's hungry, and Kenya checks her phone, and there were 17 missed text messages. Didn't look like 17 when they showed her phone, but whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is Matt's not coming. He's annoyed. He's not coming. So they call him. And Kenya's father gets on the phone and he says he wants to talk to Matt. And long story short, Matt is super respectful to her father, but it's clear he's annoyed. He even goes so far as to say to the father that Kenya manipulates him or whatever. So at the end of the day, he doesn't want to go back and forth with Kenya's dad on the phone, so he finally shows up to the cigar lounge. So this, to me, was another telling scene. If you saw my review from last week, when I talked about how I felt like Matt is exposing Kenya's craziness and Kenya's not receiving it, more of that was exposed to me, in my opinion, this week. And I'm interested to know if you guys also think the same way or if you totally disagree. Matt comes in. He's still mad. He's trying to hold it together, y'all. You can see the jaws clenched. He's angry. And he's trying to hold it together. He's trying to be respectful for the father. And the father, of course, is laying it down, saying, not appropriate how you talk to my daughter. Your outbursts are unacceptable. Those types of things. And, of course, Matt is agreeing. He's like, you're absolutely right. And so he talks about flaws. And he said that it's difficult to deal with somebody's flaws when they don't know they exist. And that's a quote, y'all. And he is right. How many times have we seen people try to talk to Kenya about what she's doing and her just not hear it, or she ignores it, or she glosses over it, and she wants to talk about what you're doing wrong. It is classic narcissism where you deflect all the time. And that's what Kenya's doing. I mean, it's really unfortunate that she cannot see where she's wrong here. Now, Matt is 100% wrong in the way that he responds. He should not be violent. She should not feel unsafe. He should not be breaking out windows in her garage. He should not be kicking walls in or punching walls in. He shouldn't be doing any of that stuff. But it takes two to tango. So if something's going wrong in the relationship and he is actually saying to you in a very articulate way that I think you're manipulative and deceptive and you don't respect me and you talk to me like a farm animal, and he's telling you these different things, and all you can say is when and why, and you make me look dumb, and da-da-da. I mean, you're not at all acknowledging anything that he has said. So it's destined to fail. So Kenya's dad, to his credit, I think he did do a fair job trying to mediate the two. And Matt clearly said he did not feel that Kenya respected him, that he had his own boundaries, they weren't being respected. And so Kenya's father said, what do you think about that, Kenya? And basically she wants to take it back to the beginning and the challenges that she faced. And she didn't really address anything that Matt had said, but she did say she didn't want him tearing up her house. So he says, and until he stops tearing up her house, then there'll be no respect. So then he said, well, that's the end of it then. He should go. Good. Walk away. That's the answer. She's not willing to respect you. She keeps doing things that you feel is inciting you to fly off the handle. You can't control yourself. Y'all don't need to be together. And that's the end of it. So Matt decides to leave. So the dad's sitting there pleading with him outside, like, please work it out. Try. If you love her, it's worth it, whatever. If it's not real, walk away. So the last thing we see is Matt walking away. So Matt is over this relationship. Fake, real, whatever it is, he's done with it. He's done with it. So at the very end of the show, we get the meeting between Phaedra and Kandi. And why did Phaedra set this up? Why? Okay. So Phaedra comes comes in first and she sits down, and then Kandi shows up. And they sit there in awkward silence for a long time, and neither one speaks. So Phaedra invited Kandi, but doesn't speak. And I've always heard it's like a power play. Whoever speaks first is the loser here. So I think that's what Phaedra was doing. But Kandi, whatever. She has nothing to lose, so she spoke first. She said, "So Phaedra, to what do I owe the pleasure of this meeting?" So Phaedra tries to launch into this whole hurt feelings about Mama Joyce and what she was saying about her at the tasting. Kandi shuts it down. See, Phaedra really needed to have thought this through because Kandi doesn't hide anything about her life. She tells everything like it is. And since you, Phaedra, have already acknowledged, even in this meeting today, that y'all are no longer friends, Kandi isn't about to hide your secrets anymore. So basically, Kandi shut it down. She said that everything Mama Joyce said was already in the news. So I don't know what you brought me here to talk about that for. And then she takes this as an opportunity to pretty much bring up all the grievances she has against Phaedra. How she dragged her through the mud, how she always has her name in her mouth, how she's jabbing at her and Todd and everything else. And so Phaedra tries to defend herself, but there's really nothing she can say. Kandi's pretty much dominating this conversation, and she's exposing Phaedra for the lies that she's been telling. She brings up to Phaedra's face the fact that she's making light of this bomb threat, but then she's a bodyguard. And Phaedra says that her parents got her the bodyguard because they are more concerned than she is, because she's all about lifting up the black man. And so Kandi's like, well, whatever, Phaedra. I don't know who you're trying to help, but I'm not the one to fool. So Phaedra tries to play the single mom card and be the victim here and says she should be the one who's angry because she's a single mom and da 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 da. And Kandi's like, I was a single mom. If you're about your business, you're okay with being a single mom. So at the end of the day, Phaedra just couldn't handle it. She just was caving because Kandi was telling her that she never made it seem like she was upset about Apollo going to jail because she was always worrying about Apollo. Apollo was always bringing the drama. She even told Kandi she was counting down the days till he left, and she was planning on marrying somebody else by the new year. So Phaedra didn't deny any of this, y'all. Phaedra did not deny any of this. She did say that even though you're ready for somebody to go, it doesn't mean there aren't feelings involved. It was so shocking how real Kandi got. I mean, she just laid it all out there. I mean, all her stuff. So, I don't know why Phaedra, maybe she thought the scene was going to go differently, but Phaedra had nothing to say. In the end, Kandi was like, I'm done here, and she got up and she left. And so Phaedra was there with her face on the floor, and that was the end of that scene. And that was the end of the show, y'all. What did y'all think of this week's episode? Were y'all into it? Did y'all hang in there to the end? What do y'all think about Matt and Kenya? Are y'all buying this relationship? What do you think about? Are y'all thinking that Kenya is 100% correct here and Matt just needs to suck it up and get therapy for his anger management? Or do you think they're both got something to change about one another? Or do you think that Kenya 100% is wrong and Matt needs to run for the hills? I'm somewhere between. They both need to fix it, and more so, Matt needs to run for the hills. And I say that because we have seen the long history of Kenya unable to receive her own flaws. And I've already said this before in this review. So anyway, guys, that's the end. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more of these reviews. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!